Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome to some more Evolve. Today I want to do something a little bit different, because of course the game is going to come out very soon. It's had an alpha and a beta, although both of them were basically a massive promotional event for the game, but still, a lot of us have played quite a bit, we understand what's going on, and I personally have put maybe 10, 15, no, probably about 20 hours or so into the game across both events and played every character, every monster, and I feel like I've got a very good understanding of what's going on. So while you watch this delectable wraithiness in the background, it really was a phenomenal hunt, I wanted to do a video where I just kind of talked about my feelings towards Evolve, maybe propose to it for glorious marriage, and just say where I'm kind of laying with the game, right? Laying with the game? Probably not laying with the game, that's probably wrong. Where I'm at with the game, maybe? You'll understand once I start talking. I mean, to go from marrying the game to now sleeping with it, I apparently am really, but maybe Wraith has really got to me. I mean, apparently it's a female monster, so maybe I'm just into that. Irrelevant, okay. Evolve objectively is a very fun game. It really is. When you first start playing it, it immediately has this kind of, oh, yes, we're gonna own it up, oh, this is awesome, the monster, we're gonna kill him, or if you are the monster, you're like, I'm gonna slaughter some humans, and it's just gonna be great, and it has that initial boom impact, you are having fun. But my problem with the game is that it feels like it's really not going to have a lot of lifespan, and that kind of worries me. I feel like it's on the road to pulling a Titanfall where it's going to burn brightly, but then fizzle out very quickly as well. And my reasoning for that is because it feels like every Evolve game mode is basically something that would be a small part of another game, if that makes sense. For example, an MMO, if you queue for some PvP and you get 20 of you put in this map and you fight to the death and then it's all fun and then you go back to the rest of the MMO, Evolve feels like a game made entirely around that 10v10 PvP that you queue for that is only a small part of that game, but it's the entirety of Evolve. I hope that kind of makes sense, and while you can alleviate that problem with lots of game modes, which I'm sure Evolve will do. In fact, the trailer for the game mode that we saw in the beta, the 5-day Extinction, I think, event, which covers every game mode in the game, and it's like a full-on, more story-driven thing with multiple monsters and multiple teams of hunters. It does look kind of epic and cool, but the impression I get from that is you'll do it kind of once and then will you really want to commit that much time to an epic 5-day thing? It feels kind of like the campaign again in Titanfall, which was worth doing the first time for the unlocks, and it was kind of okay, but then not something you want to spam do, and it worries me a little bit, because undoubtedly the game is very well made, it is reasonably balanced, it is very visceral, and take it from me, it is gloriously fun to play. The environments are wonderful, the map variety is not crazy, but that's because the planet is the planet and you can't have too many drastically different areas because then it would be a little bit inconsistent, but the environments do look beautiful. The wildlife that has been invented for the game is absolutely awesome, the monsters themselves are incredible, the personalities of the hunters are all really neat, and basically everything that is there, what I'm trying to say, is polished, fun, and good. But my concern comes from the fact that, is it really going to be enough? Are people going to be playing this a week, a month, 2 months after launch? And I'm kind of concerned. There's not that much stuff to unlock. I imagine there will be cosmetic stuff. I mean, there is skins for the monsters and stuff, but probably more of that you can work towards. But there's not a massive overarching out-of-game progression system. Yeah, you can upgrade your proficiency with weapons and get a few little perks, but it's nothing like you'd crazily play towards. I feel like the game needs a hook that, as sad as this is to say, I feel like it needs a way to get players to play even if they're bored of the core game, which says something about how we play games today. A lot of people do play games that they're actually not that into just because they have a goal in mind that they want to achieve. There's nothing inherently wrong to that, but it is something that designers have to take into consideration when making a game, because that is the player mentality. They want to be able to work towards something, to grind something out. It's the mentality that makes people prestige a billion times in whatever the current COD is. It's the same mentality that makes people grind out stuff in MMOs. It's the same mentality that makes people unlock a billion cases in Team Fortress. It's that kind of thing you got to appeal to, especially in a repeating match like this. And Team Fortress is actually a very good example. There's nothing in Team Fortress that is inherently sort of varied, but it is still incredibly popular and very addicting, and that is kind of impressive, because if Evolve can capture that kind of feeling, if it can be as sort of limited and repeating as Team Fortress, but be so much fun people keep coming back, then that is kind of cool. But Evolve is a lot slower paced than Team Fortress, which already immediately loses people, because Team Fortress, you're in, you run around, you blast people down, you're having immediate fun. Evolve requires a little bit more investment, a little bit more patience. The action doesn't really start till about 5 minutes into a hunt, and there's obviously a lot more strategy in Evolve. But can you really see yourself opening Evolve, playing for 6 hours, coming back tomorrow and doing the same thing? I'm not entirely sure. I can totally see someone every 3 or 4 days going, guys, let's do a round of Evolve. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do that. But it really doesn't seem to me a game that you're going to constantly spam play. I can't see Evolve being anyone's main game past sort of a week of release. And that's my main problem that I have with it right now. And I feel like that's something that really needs addressing. It also, the fact that while you are a hunter and a monster, making that feel like both sides are equally powerful is kind of difficult as well, because inherently playing the monster is a lot more fun, especially when you're not with friends. When you start out as a hunter, your game is walk around this, lovely map, but it is walk around this map for about 4 minutes until you happen to find Mr. Monster Friend, and obviously the skill involved in finding it is there. You can shorten the time, you can play better, you can hunt the monster more effectively, but the fact of the matter is, at the start of every game, you're just kind of walking for ages until you happen to find the monster. The monster's enjoying itself, it's hunting prey, it's eating, it's getting ready to fight the hunters, but from the hunter's perspective, I feel like that is where inherently the game falls down. While you are the hunter, you are either running around chasing the monster, you are either fighting the monster and getting thrashed, or you are fighting the monster and destroying it because you found it early. There seems to be very few situations, at least from my experience, and I played a lot of monster games, where you feel like the hunters are in a fair fight with you. As the monster, you always end up in a, I am going to die here, so I'm going to play defensively and run, or I am going to slaughter them, you're not trapped in here with you, I'm trapped in. I failed that reference really badly, and I am really a scumbag for it, but you know what I'm saying. As the monster, you are always either underpowered or overpowered, and I feel like that needs to be a thing. There needs to be a more even battle between monsters and hunters, and I'm sure it will happen as the skill level of the players rise to where you're supposed to find the monster on tier 2 and have an even match with it, but it seemed to not happen a lot, and maybe that will solve itself later down the line, but that concerns me as well. So basically, from the fact that the game, while everything that's there is wonderful, it's very limited in scope and very repeatable to the point where you're kind of like, I'm done now. As soon as you stop enjoying the core game mechanics, you have no reason to keep playing past maybe coming back to check out a new monster. And then, at the same time, playing as the hunter, if you're not in a squad of friends, is just not inherently that fun, I don't feel. If you're a hunter with 3 other people, yes, you can talk and stuff, but it's just kinda, it's not really anywhere near the same level of fun as playing the monster solo. When you're playing something like LoL or Dota with a team of randoms, yeah, you got randoms on your team, that can be bad or good, whatever, but you're still having fun as an individual, doing your thing, playing well, farming, you enjoy playing an MMOBA solo, but being a hunter on a team of people you don't know in this game is really kinda honestly. Maybe it is just me. Maybe you guys found that differently, but they are my main concerns. Hopefully not talked about in too many circles, but I just wanted to have a video explaining that. Obviously, when the game releases, I'm going to do a full worth your time review evaluation of it, which will talk about a lot more points, but this is my main thing I want to bring up. Game is great fun, well made, awesome. Game is probably going to be boring after a week. These two things are not good. Personally, because I love a rating system, I feel like, I mean there is league tables, there is statistic tables in the game, but I feel like there needs to be a more inherent sort of incentive to be really freaking good at the game. I feel like there needs to be more, that needs to be brought more to the forefront. You want to go into a game with someone, see that hunter's name and be like, oh, that is that dude. You want to feel fear as the monster when you know you're being hunted by 4 expert hunters. I feel like that's the way to go. You want to be able to be known in this game as that badass that does things well. And I feel like that's what they need to focus on. Focus on the skill, focus on the teamwork, focus on making it wonderfully fun to both watch and be quality at. Any ideas that you guys have that you think would be good, I'd love to discuss with you in the comments, but I really just wanted to inherently lay out my thoughts, my main thoughts about the game currently. Also, the fact that you cannot play as a group of 5 friends, where one of you gets to be the monster and 4 of you get to be the hunters, is beyond retarded. Okay, if you cannot do that in the real game, in like a custom lobby, that is horrendous. The biggest single fun thing to do in this game, you as a monster facing 4 of your friends, and you're not allowed to do it as it currently stands. That really sucks. It really does. So I'm hoping that will be something you can do in the real thing. But yeah, there you go, guys. Also, I deliberately don't want to talk about the DLC system that the developers have just because the game's not fully out yet, so I hope it's not finalized, because as it currently stands, paying for every new monster kind of feels a little bit lame, and I don't know, the fact you have to buy the game as well, and then there's all this DLC that you can get, yeah, you can pre-order it in a bundle, but it's not the best DLC practices, that's all I'm saying, but I don't want to get too into it because the game is not fully out. I will judge that separately when I do my fully fledged reviewy video on the game. That is my current thoughts on Evolve and its future based on the alpha and the beta. I'll be very interested to see just how much there is to do in release, and hopefully I am wrong in everything that I have just said, and it turns out to be quite the lengthy game in terms of player retention, and hopefully it's not forgotten about like Titanfall, like Watch Dogs, a couple weeks after release, given all the hype it's had. So yeah, my name's been Rage. Remember to like if you've enjoyed this, it really does help, and subscribe for more. And goodbye.